welcome to start now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are live, it's saying.
Are we live? We live? Are we live on
We live. We
Facebook
live.
and
Anyway.
on YouTube?
We are live on YouTube and Facebook. For our YouTube
All
viewers,
right.
please click subscribe, share the video. For our
Yes,
Facebook
yes, yes, yes.
our Facebook people, please share our page. Comments will come in through our chat. Any questions, concerns about
Woo.
what we talk about today, please put them in the chat and we will try our best to answer them. But I am your co-host, Nernique, Nikki Grant. You all can call me Nikki. I've given you permission. And we're back another week and another full week of foolery up in Washington. But we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. I'm going to set it up. Yeah, we're going to get it. We're going to get into the caucasity of it all. So I'm going to send it over to my co-host, Kay, and then we're going to send it over to Sandra to introduce, and then we'll start our show.
Hey, everybody. This is Kay Jacobs Reed, co-host on Race and the Races. As you know, also, I am an advocate for persons with disabilities, a mom of 2 boys, a school teacher, all-around community advocate and involved person. I am excited this week. As Nikki said, it's like it never takes a break. I just want everybody to know, Nikki puts out like these master plans of what we're going to talk about on the show. They are so phenomenal. Like this woman missed her calling. She needed to be a television producer. But we can't keep up with what goes on. Like from this morning until like 5 minutes ago, the news is constantly evolving. So, I mean, I want to thank these 2 ladies that I'm working with because they keep up with the news. And, you know, Nikki gives us edits and good stuff, but we got some good up-to-date current stuff for you, as well as I do have some surprising and fun updates from the disability community. So stay tuned for that.
All right, Sandra, you up, sis?
Listen, I don't, this is Sandra Sheffred, one of the other co-hosts of Race and the Races. We've been at this since last year. Breonna Taylor keeps making the news. That's what was the impetus for us starting this show. But like Kay was saying, every time you turn around, it's another reason why we actually have to keep this going. So once again, I'm Sandra Sheffred, one of the co-hosts of Race and the Races. I'm a park soon, y'all. I was at a location, had some choppy Wi-Fi, connection was bad. Now I'm about to go and stay because I don't need to be talking to y'all driving. So yeah, we're gonna start talking. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Well, I don't want none of them kinds of problems. So I'm about to park, and then we're going to keep talking and get this show started. Thank you, YouTube family. Thank you, Facebook family, for indulging us for this hour, that we're going to spend with you guys and just talk about what's going on. And we got to see what we're going to do. So we don't only talk about problems, we also offer solutions.
We do. So let's just start with so as you know, last week we were discussing the Haitian president's assassination.
Yes.
It was a very, very hard blow for the Haitian people in Haiti. And so we are still following the news. His wife, Miss Martine Moise, has subsequently been discharged from the hospital. She has made her way back to Haiti, and she is planning on burying her husband on the 23rd of July. There's a couple of outlets here in Broward. Yes, Friday. There's a couple of outlets in Miami and in New York that will be live streaming the ceremony. There is
Island TV is one of them.
Yes, Island
one of them.
Correct. And if you don't know your local channels, I would suggest you look through your local, whoever is your provider, and see if you have the Island channel, or look into your community if you are a Haitian viewer to see where you can find that live stream. One of the things that Mrs. Jovenel Moise mentioned is that she doesn't want any money from the government to bury her husband, and she will be planning on doing that on her own. The other news that came out of Haiti.
Wait, let's stay on that one for a minute. How many, what are your thoughts on her going back? I mean, she got out of the hospital 1 minute and she was already on a plane going back to Haiti with her bulletproof vest on and her arm in the sling. I've been hearing all different types of opinions about her going back. Some people are like, why would she do that? Some people have suggested that she may have had some involvement. That's why she's going back. There are others that are saying that she's going back in order for her to actually run for president and take over the mantle. I've had some wives that were like, yeah, nah, they tried to kill me because I was marrying him. I wouldn't have been nowhere near that place. What are your thoughts on that? Let's not skip that by, because some people see it as a sign of bravery, and then others see it like it might be stupidity, and then then there's words on the street that she may be complicit in what happened. What are your thoughts on that, lady? What you think about her going back?
Well, we've had a conversation about that, and for me, I wouldn't be comfortable going back. I would have probably had my husband's remains be sent to me and bury him somewhere else because I wouldn't feel safe. However, I'm not in her position. I don't know what the dynamics are in Haiti. I'm not sure what's going on, what her involvement is. I know from different outlets, I was hearing that she was his advisor, her husband's advisor. So she's deep into the government, right? And so I'm not sure if she's made allies, if she has, she has things set up that way. For me, I probably wouldn't have done it. Again, I'm not in her shoes. I felt uncomfortable about the whole situation. One of the men who was currently the acting, he self-proclaimed himself as the acting president, has subsequently stepped down, as you all know. Well, if you don't know, he stepped down.
Claude
and
Joseph,
the person originally supposed to be the one that Jovenel really wanted to be acting, president who wanted to be appointed is the one now who's president. So, and reason why is just news is circulating that he wasn't complicit in the assassination. And when she got off the plane to Haiti and she met with him, he was the first person she shook hands with and was happy to see. So, again, all Haitian people, not all, but most Haitian people in all the outlets that I've been researching and looking at, they've all said they're not surprised of any news that comes out of Haiti. Some are very for her going back to burying her husband. And then there's people saying, if you only got shot in the arm, you walk in and you're fine and it seems like you're fine. And, they claim you had surgery, but like, what kind of surgery did you, like, there's always these, there's always speculation. For me personally, I always go with my gut, and my gut is telling me that something don't seem kosher. That's all I got to say.
Jacobs Reed, what you say?
I really don't have much to say other than I'm observing and hearing all different points of view. And, I can't even imagine what that situation would be like. I'm just concerned for her safety. And I'm wondering, have they caught everyone who was in charge of the coup? I know she does, as you guys said, have 3 children. Is she, I guess for me, I was just concerned with timing, with her going back before there was, I guess the whole issue was resolved. Is she actually safe? God forbid she go back and then somebody try it again or go after her children. So that was my concern. But to be honest, I guess I kind of see it from the point of view of, you ain't gonna kick me out of my home. You're not gonna make me leave. If this is my country, I'm coming back. So I can see that, but also a matter of timing. I don't, I can't, like I said, I can't speak for that woman and her situation. I have no idea what it's like to be the first lady of a country. But I am concerned for her safety, and I'm hoping and praying that the timing is okay and that she is going to be safe upon her return to Haiti.
So there was reports that came out from her telling the FBI what happened. And in one of our social media groups, someone posted the what transpired between her and the FBI. And I'm not sure how authentic that information is, but based on that information, it just didn't add up. Just the information just didn't add up, because according to her, in this account to the FBI, the assassins were checking to see if she was still alive so they can make sure that she was dead. And she said she played dead. Listen, and according to this report, and again, I don't know how authentic it is, she also stated that she was hit first. Her and her husband were under the bed. They were trying to hide under the bed. Someone else just posted a picture of his home in Haiti, the size of the house. I'm not sure if that would be a smart idea to hide under the bed, but I digress. So it just didn't add up. I'm hoping that information is incorrect and is not accurate, because it just doesn't make any sense. And it wouldn't make any sense for her to go back if this FBI account or this whole information transpiring, that if this is accurate, then they were trying to kill her too. So I wouldn't have gone back. But again, I digress. That's just
and that's the problem with the information that's coming out. It's so conflicting that you just don't know what to believe. Because at one point I heard something. First we heard she was dead, then she wasn't dead. Then we heard that she was paralyzed. The lady walked off a plane, so clearly that information wasn't true. Then it was like she was in critical condition, and the next thing you know, she's walking out the hospital. Then we saw pictures of her with long hair and straightened hair. Then the next thing, she's sporting a short fro. It's like, you don't know. Like, we just don't know what's going on. But I mean, since she was the person who got off that plane, you can see that she's not paralyzed. She's clearly not dead. Who knows if the agenda was really just to get the president and nothing is going to happen to her, and maybe that's why she has a certain comfort level in returning to Haiti. But yeah, when I saw her go back, I was like, wait, what? This must be fake news that she's already back in Haiti the same day she's getting discharged out of the hospital.
The day she got discharged, she went back home.
Yeah, she went back the day she got discharged.
Yep, she did. She went right back home. She is planning on burying her husband on Friday. And there is no plans, or nothing has come out what she plans to do after that. Granted, this is her country. This is where she was born and raised. This is where she is. This is her place. And so I'm almost thinking the same thing as Kay. Like, you ain't gonna run me out. Maybe that's her mindset. I'm not sure. But
I don't know if this is the time for ego tripping. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
Yeah, I think
I shouldn't dismiss it. I take that back. I really shouldn't dismiss what she's doing as ego tripping. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I would want to believe that she decided to go back and stay there knowing that she's going to be safe. To me, like, that would be the conditions that I would think is okay. She'd be like, listen, I'm going back because I'm going to be safe, or whatever, and nothing's gonna happen to me again. Because I mean, I understand that some people are willing to die for their country. However, like, Haiti doesn't need any more trauma like that, right? You know what I mean? So the fact that you just dealt with a president getting assassinated and the way that it did by foreign nationals coming in and all of that, then if that happened to her, it would just be way too much trauma, and it would completely destabilize that country.
Has the U.S. government gone in to say that they're going to assure her safety, or they're going to secure, what has the U.S. I know Biden pledged to get involved and send some FBI leaders over there. What actually is happening on the ground that you guys know of?
Well, she was sent with detail.
Okay.
She didn't go with just by herself. She was sent with American detail.
Okay.
Subsequently stayed with her when she got there. So it would appear that she has American protection. I'm not sure if that was just for her to get there initially, and then she's supposed to get her own detail afterwards. But she clearly had white men, American detail, FBI agents who were with her when she got off the plane, was basically surrounding her when she got into the car, and stopped people from talking to her while she was getting into the vehicle. So she does have some American detail there. I don't know for how long. And it wasn't disclosed to us.
Right, of course.
He was gonna happen.
Nikki, are they doing anything within the government or the country or has the Americans tried to stabilize? What role are they playing in protecting her?
Biden's administration is basically waiting on
so that's kind of what people don't want. We don't want, a lot of Haitian nationals don't want any occupation by any country, right?
Okay.
So you want some sort of support, but the Haitians don't want any foreign country to actually go in and try to act like they're gonna take over and make everything okay, because that would be like consenting to occupation, and that's not that's not what the Haitian people want or need at this time.
Biden's administration's credit, just a little bit, because there are some other stuff going on under the surface with USA that I don't want to get into, but just to their credit, they are waiting on the Haitian government to tell them what they.
Okay, that was my question.
He's not actively doing his own thing. He's kind of like following their lead, and if you want something, let me know.
Okay.
And so that's how it's been so far. I hope it stays that way. But bottom line is Haiti need to get their stuff together. And their people need a solid administration, a solid government in order to function. You can't function haphazardly the way that they've been functioning for the past several years. So it's gotta, we gotta get some stability and some continuity going on. With this horrible event, is gonna take some time to recover. So we're gonna keep looking and watching it. And if we have any big announcements, we'll make sure that we talk about it. But for the meantime, we ask that you continue to pray for Haiti. Continue to keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. But also, if you have an opportunity and know of any Haitian community or any Haitian organizations that are doing things for Haiti, that are sending things there, that are trying to be part of the process to get Haiti into a better, help them transition, I would humbly ask that you support and you be participate in it and help out any way you can. So that is for Haiti. So we're gonna go ahead and swing on over to child. So do we want to leave?
Are we gonna talk about Cuba, or we gonna go into America and then leave Cuba for next?
See, I was gonna try not to talk about the Cuban thing, but child, I was on social media and there's a representative, I believe in Washington, I want to say, who was arrested. It was her and a couple of other. She's an elected official. She is the chair of the Black Democratic Caucus.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Yes, and she was arrested. She was inside of a building protesting these voter suppression laws, and they arrested her on the spot. She wasn't screaming. She didn't throw feces on the building. She didn't cuss nobody out. She wasn't violent. She didn't steal the podium.
Did she steal things from there?
No,
like the flags and the podiums. And
no. As a matter of fact, they had a circle of love. There was a group of them within a circle of love, and they walked in and just decided that they was just gonna arrest these people. I'm looking up her name right now so I can give you a little bit of some context of who we're talking about. But I just thought that it was it was posted on a social media outlet. I think it was the Griot. And I made a comment, which I tagged Sandra on. And I said, they're arresting elected officials for protesting rights here in this country, voting rights. And the Cubans are out here blocking traffic and nobody gets arrested. So
clearly against the law, clearly against the protest bill that the governor recently signed into law, against the objection of every Democrat in both the House and the Senate.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had to mention that too, because I thought it was obvious what I was saying, but apparently some Cubans didn't appreciate what I said and stated something to the effect of, how dare you? Why don't you show support? And this, that, the other, and whatever. I said, listen, excuse me if I have to spend the rest of my life trying to focus on rights first of all, my people, just like how the Cuban people support their people, I'm supporting my people in my country, a country I was born and raised in that treats me like garbage, a country that my ancestors built, right? That's what I'm doing. Focus on you. I said, if you understood that I am not complaining about the protest of the Cubans, they could do what they want. What I'm complaining about is the hypocrisy. You can't have a governor who puts legislation for specifically, according to him, riot bill, and you have people who are of Cuban descent causing and stop. And I said it. I said they're stopping traffic, which is illegal based on
based on that new legislation. It is absolutely against the law.
In prison, okay, you have all that, and not one person gets arrested. I'm talking about the hypocrisy.
And I believe the first day they started the protest, they didn't have a permit to do that, which is also against the law. The whole thing was illegal. Like the first day was absolutely illegal. The next day, okay, they got the permit, had the law enforcement there. But the way in which they were protesting by blocking the expressway, that's absolutely illegal. And then people could have, and so someone could have technically, according to the governor and the way he did this bill that every Democrat told him not to do, people could have drove through them and run them over, and there would have been no consequence. And so this is why they were trying to show him and the other Republicans that it doesn't make sense. This law does not make sense. And then remember, 3 or more people is mob intimidation. It was a whole bunch. They were trying to say, look, it don't make sense. Don't pass this law. So instead of them saying, okay, you know what, we realize that, we was wrong, we should repeal this during the next legislative session, they're still doubling down and saying that it's necessary. And then the thing that gets me is like, how are you going to enforce this moving forward? Because
did you hear what DeSantis said?
Exhibit A.
DeSantis said it's up to local government to enforce the
local
police to enforce the law. Come on,
that doesn't work. You can't pick and choose who you want to prosecute.
You can't pick and choose who your legislation applies to. That's not how it works.
And so what is that going to be based on? How is it that you're going to decide the next time that you're going to arrest people for protesting? Who are they going to be? Like, I want to see you do that to Black people and not say it's because they're Black. Tell me. Because and again, I'm all for protest. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. And then particularly, they're not even protesting an issue that's happening in the United States. They're protesting something that's happening in another country. So how are you going to explain people protesting violations to them or whoever, their group in the United States? And you're going to be like, that's when you want to exercise your discretion to arrest somebody?
Make it make sense. Yeah. The representative that I was talking about is Representative Congresswoman Joyce Betty. She is in Ohio. She represents the District 3 in Ohio. And she, along with, I'll tell you right now, she, along with Melanie Campbell, have been arrested at the Hart Senate building. So for protest voter registration, this is something that's after the 2020 election and the big lie. Several states came up with their anti-voter bills. And as an American and as someone who represents her constituents, she was like, that's not fair. You're taking away something from my constituents that is rightly theirs. This woman was arrested. And again, I'm all about protest. I'm all about it. What I'm saying is that we have issues in this country that demands people to stand up and protest against, because the government is supposed to be working for us, not against us, right? And so if you have the government decide that they're gonna just work against you and they don't want you to vote, they don't want you to do this and they don't want you to do that, well, we put you in position to make those decisions for us, not to work against us, but to work with us. And I have no problems with Cuban people protesting. My problem is the hypocrisy of Governor Ron DeSantis. You don't pick and choose who legislation applies to. You just don't do it. He literally made this legislation because of the Black Lives Matter movement. He want to act like that's not what he did. He want to act like one has nothing to do with the other. Yes, it does, because you have Cubans out there who are sitting and they're rightly so protesting their oppressive government, okay, showing support, and they not once get arrested. For 2 days in a row, they blocked down 826. 2 days.
I mean, you have to realize Native Americans who were protesting Dakota Pipeline were protesting on their own land, since this country originally belonged to them anyway. And all they were saying is they did not want the government to run a gas pipeline through their native lands that are rightfully theirs, acknowledged by this government. And what happened to them? They got arrested and really mistreated for protesting on their own property. Mm-hmm. So,
not like highways and streets.
Constantly be this double standard. That's really what it boils down to. It can't constantly be this double standard. The Constitution gives us the right to protest. Everybody should have the right to protest, whether you want to protest your own lands, what our people go through, what's happening in Cuba, wherever, China, it doesn't matter. But you have the right to protest. And when you take one person's right to protest away and then decide to let other people protest in the same exact fashion, that is
no, because there's no Black Lives people that stopped 836. That did not happen. Last summer, with all of the protests that was happening everywhere, nobody blocked the highway.
I think they did get on 826 down in Miami.
They did, but they were probably removed.
Yes, they made them leave.
Yeah.
But nothing is so. If you do the same
on that highway for hours.
Yes, 2 days. 2 days. So if you do the same thing, you have to have the same law enforcement.
You can't do it for
justice has to be blind. It can't just be like that. One person gets one treatment, because then, and I don't know, what does this lead, Sandra? I think I asked the same thing last week, but now that we've seen it play out, where these people protested and without a permit, and then with a permit, but both times breaking existing law. What happens if me, you, and Nikki, our 3-man mob, go out and we protest and stop traffic tomorrow? If we are arrested, can we sue the state?
So I don't know about suing the state, but I believe even
or
if you get arrested, you can try, right? You can try.
Well, yeah, you can always try.
We would definitely, I believe we would definitely be able to attack the constitutionality of that law. And I think if we went to try, I believe we could be found not guilty, because you can always get arrested. So I never want to say you can't get arrested. You can always get arrested.
You can always get arrested.
What the main concern is, like, when you get convicted at the end of the road of that arrest, that I think it's going to be extremely difficult for them to do. It's going to be extremely
that's
difficult.
My question. Like, does the fact that people have done it and were not persecuted, arrested, even given any consequences, would that play a part
to
in
me? That matters. I'm sure, the state is going to try to not let that information in, but I believe you'll be able to get it in, because one of the things about the law is, like, everyone has due process. You're supposed to treat everybody the same. Okay. We're really into equity, not equality, but really the law is supposed to treat everybody the same. You can't decide, I'm going to only let this apply to someone, to this group, and not let it apply to the other group. That's not how it works. It just doesn't. I mean, that's how it works, but that's not what the law is supposed to work.
State law, for goodness sakes. And the fact that he had the audacity to come on TV and said, the local government has to do. No, sir, you made it a state law.
He takes responsibility for good stuff and pass the buck on all the other stuff.
He says, picture you coming. People have posted this. He specifically said, way before he decided to make this a bill, he's like, think about it. You come trying to come home and somebody's blocking traffic or whatever. Those people have to be dealt with swiftly. You just had that happen to you 2 days in a row.
In fact, the newscaster was on the news saying, I'm not going to say which one, but he came on the news and said, I was in traffic for 3 hours today. I couldn't get to work, and I had to ask my fellow newscaster to cover my spot. And then he said, thank you, and then called his name. Thank you for covering my spot. I was stuck in traffic for 3 hours. I couldn't get here. So, somebody publicly said exactly what the governor said is not supposed to be an issue, because. So, the whole thing just completely played out. And I think, I really want the legislature to take another look at this. Just as they went back and repealed, I was just looking it up today. I have to double check, but there was a law that was previously passed that in this legislative session, they repealed and took it back. So that showed me it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done. And I think they really need to take a look at this. Mm-hmm. And just based on, as you can see, and how things play out, I think they need to really consider repealing this.
Yeah. They saw it. It's like they already saw it doesn't work.
Let me round out this segment by saying there was a meme that Sandra sent us in a group chat, and it said, Florida has been controlled by the GOP for 20 years. We rank 45th in tax fairness. We rank 47th in benefits to help folks who lose their jobs. We rank 41st in access to healthcare. We also rank number 1 in toll roads, and rank 2nd in mass shootings. Vote Ron DeSantis out in 2022.
And Marco Rubio.
They got to go, because they're not for everybody. Listen, let me tell you something. They're
there for themselves. Those guys are there for themselves. They're trying to position themselves to run for president.
I'm going to be completely honest. I have no qualms with a Republican who represents everyone. I don't. I don't care if you're conservative, but when you start voting for things that's for everybody, you okay with me. All right. What I do have a problem with is people like Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio, who's sniffing under Trump's behind or whatever, and know that the man is a train wreck and still double down on the foolery. That's my problem. Okay. Yeah. You don't just represent the people the Republican people or the Cuban Republicans or the whatever Republicans that are there. You represent everybody. You gotta do things for everyone. But when you start making laws and legislations in a state that only affects a certain group of people and everybody else is fine, you're not representing everybody. That voter bill, that voter suppression bill, that anti-riot bill, all these bills that came out to oppress a group of people, that is what Ron DeSantis is all about. And if that's what you want to continue to have, then bring him in 2022. But if you fed up with foolery, I suggest you look to see who's running against him. So far, Nikki Fried has made a very good case of why she should be governor. You need to go ahead.
I was in a meeting on Monday night, and one of the things they were talking about was that their efforts with SB 90 and bills to that effect have really just made people pay attention to voting even more, right? Because they were like, if they had just left it alone, they might have been able to get away with a whole bunch of stuff. DeSantis and Rubio may have had better chances of being elected because voting wouldn't have been on such the forefront of everybody's mind. So they're like, you know what? By them doing that, now they're just making people organize even more to make sure that they get people to come out and vote. And the way they're promoting election day now is like that's the last day to vote, because they're like, no, we want everybody to early vote. There's some things that our supervisor of election is doing to try to set people up to really encourage them to vote early, track their ballots, make sure. And they're promoting election day as like that's the last day to vote. They're not even telling people to wait to vote on that day anymore. You know what I mean? So by them doing these things, it's really making people truly understand and appreciate the value of their vote. And people are gonna organize more to make sure more people vote. And more people vote count.
You know what's funny? I heard, Sandra, and I haven't verified this, but I was told by someone in the Democratic Party that years ago, it was actually the Republican Party who started the whole vote by mail, pushing the vote by mail issue.
It's true.
I think, and they did it because they felt the Democrats were taking over and they wanted to make sure that more Republicans can vote. So it's just, Nikki, you know what? Sometimes you just got to let God do what he do. Yeah. See how you do? You pass this thing, you try to repress people, what happens in Cuba, and now you see. So sometimes it's like when they try so hard to repress one group of people, guess what happens? It always ends up turning around, hitting them right back in the face. And exactly what Sandra is saying is happening.
That's what Sandra said. She said they're going to put this bill out, but it's going to end up backfiring on them. She said, because
it sure will.
Because a lot of money has been coming into the state now. I know the Democratic Party is already like getting ready and getting going early. And like you said, more average citizens are now aware of just like, like you said, oh, I can't go ahead and drop my ballots off. I can't, because like for me, it's me, my husband, my mom, it was my aunt and uncle. I was like, okay, let me just go. I don't expect everybody to go drop off a ballot, because I'm being honest, we didn't trust the mail this time. So we drove down to the SOE. Now I can't do that. So now my aunt and uncle are like, I'm like, oh, sorry, auntie, you don't live in my household. You got to go drive. She's like, wait, what? I'm like, oh yeah, DeSantis passed that rule. So whereas my aunt normally probably wouldn't have paid attention, now she's upset because she's inconvenienced, So a lot more people are aware of the inconvenience, and they're like, wait, hold on. Why are you making this difficult? I think it's very possible that the more, and you're affecting a lot of the seniors. I live right here by Hollywood and another senior community, and they're really concerned about how are you going to get all those seniors vote by mail downtown. So now they're looking at asking for a polling place inside their senior community. It's like, oh, okay, you want to make it difficult? Let me talk to the SOE. Because we do have to respect our seniors. Absolutely. And I completely don't believe we should be making it hard for them. Same thing I have, with me working in the disability community, a lot of, I have some friends whose children live in group homes, right? But they still do vote. And so what was happening previously is they would give them the opportunity to vote, collect the vote by mail, and take the ballots. Now, once again, we're not really sure how that's going to work because the mother doesn't live in the same home with the child, right? And so it's really an inconvenience for our adults with disabilities as far as making sure that process and giving them their full right and giving their parents and advocates and the group home leader access. We're really just not clear on who can take that ballot down. And so there's been a lot of advocacy in the disability community about, we're not going to let you steal our votes. We're not going to let you steal our children's votes. And we're going to make sure we get engaged to do something about it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that the SOE office is doing here is like, you could do the drop. Part of the law is that you have to do the drop off at the SOE office. So instead of having 2 locations, they're going to have 8 by November.
Oh, excellent.
They're going to have 8 different SOE offices that have to be staffed. So they're going to be moving people around. So they're like, oh, so this was you. And that's the thing. The fact that they made this such an issue, people are, people have brains and people are smart and they're going to outthink you. And so they're making plans in order to say, this is what we need to do. All right, so how about we do that? So they just really kept voting front of mind. And that's just one of those examples of people making their haters become their motivators, right? Like you're making your hater become your motivator. That's all that is.
I love it.
That's right. So and speaking into, this whole voter suppression or whatever, this really stems from, and we all know who, Donald Trump and his cronies. And let's talk the big lie. But let's talk about the January 6th insurrection. As you all know, no one wanted to do any investigation. So the House leader, Nancy Pelosi, was like, listen, we're going to put a committee together.
Right.
Get this done. Because ain't nobody got time.
Yeah, they wouldn't agree on the commission. They wouldn't agree. They couldn't get a full vote on a commission.
And Nancy Pelosi said, I don't need no goddamn permission. I'm going to create this thing or whatever. If y'all want to hop on and join us, fine. I gotta vet who's going to be on this committee. And
which everybody knew. Everybody knows the rules, right? So everybody knows whoever you submit, she has the power to vet and reject. We know this.
Can you repeat that one more time, Kay?
Yeah. Ahead of time, the rules for setting up a committee, right? Because Nancy Pelosi is the House Majority Speaker. She has the right to make this committee. She also has the right to pick who's going to be on the committee. And then the minority party gets certain appointees. However, she has the right to vet those appointees and reject them if she so chooses, because that's part of her power as Speaker. Speaker of the House has that power. Everybody in the House knows these rules. It's part of your job.
And this was in the beginning of her before she made the committee. So I just want people to understand that the rules were done way before ahead of time. This is not something, ain't nobody drop a bomb and say, no, we don't want this person and you didn't know about it. All right. So, Speaker Pelosi decided that, out of the 5 Republicans that were nominated by the minority leader,
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, Mr. McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
She rejected 2 of them. All right.
He knew she would.
All 3. He chose people. Yeah, he chose people. He knew she was going to reject.
Go ahead, Sandra.
Oh, I think there you go. Sandra, go ahead.
We lost. Go ahead, Sandra. Go ahead. Uh-oh. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We can see you, but we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Okay, she put on mute. So I'm going to say,
Go ahead. Take yourself off mute. Take yourself off mute.
Yeah, you're on mute, Sandra. There you go.
Me now?
Yes.
Okay, so he knew that she was gonna reject Jim Jordan, because Jim Jordan has been a problem from the very beginning. Like, he's just been an absolute problem. He makes stuff up. He lies. He's a diehard Trump supporter. So McCarthy knew that there was no way in the world that she was going to accept this friggin' dude on his commission, because all he was going to be was a distraction and not let anything happen that should have happened. So he did that on purpose, right? To make it seem as though, oh, look at her, she's rejecting our folks. He knew that she was not going to accept this guy, okay? And then also the other guy, Jim Banks, I'm not as familiar with him as I am with Jim Jordan. However, McCarthy knew. He knew. So now he's trying to say, if she don't accept 2, he's not going to send any. That's his business.
Well, he already
It's
did.
not like the thing can't go on because they're not there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You, like, you can't pull rank. You have no power in this situation.
And why are we being petty? Why are we being petty? So if I can't have two, I'm gonna take them all. I'm just gonna take them all.
Take them all.
Took them
have
all.
fun with it, bro.
And here's the thing that doesn't make any sense, because there's another gentleman by the name of his last name is spelled Nehl, and he was also along with Jim Jordan and Jim Banks. Is it? They all three of them were the ones on the House floor not trying to certify the election. So it's not like he didn't like. It's not right. It's not like that one guy who she did not reject wasn't a problem either. She just didn't want to do those two who were wreaking havoc and causing distractions or whatever. So if you know this, and which McCarthy does, he does not play dumb, because this man know what he's doing. You know this, and now you decided that you want to be a petulant child and say, okay, well, if you can't take two of them, I'm gonna take them all. Is that what that's what?
Well, you don't know if Nancy Pelosi don't care.
Yeah, she outsmarted him, because remember, she appointed one Republican. So because she did that, it now still meets the rules of being a bipartisan committee, and she can just go ahead and move forward. So for me, it's sad because he's playing political games and people died as a result of this. Like, this was real. The vice president was almost assassinated, right? I was not joking when I was like, we were 1 second from being Haiti. So, you know, like, why is, you know, it's like, did you forget that? Like, people, someone actually died. Several people's lives were threatened. You know, the hallmark of our government was stormed. And you're playing games when you know she can go ahead without you anyway. What is the point of that? And
that goes to show you that McCarthy's constituents should look at his behavior, because if your own representative doesn't want you to know why this happened the way that it did on January 6th, this is a stain in the American history, in American, not one of these things. Let me not say it's the only stain, but this is a stain in American history.
It's a big stain.
It's a big stain.
Terrible stain.
You and your representative doesn't want you to know why it happened and how you can make sure that it never happens again. And he's being that difficult, and then has the audacity to say, "Well, if you don't want to do the sham of an investigation, I'm gonna go do my own and figure out the facts." Well, what facts you talking about, bro? What facts are you talking about?
The same facts he admitted to during the hearing and went back on.
Listen, all I'm saying is that I want people to see this is what we're up against. These are the people that quote unquote say they represent everyone when they get elected. That is not someone who's behaving as if he represents everyone. That is someone who is behaving as if, you know what, if I'm not gonna get my way,
they're playing party politics.
Yes,
party politics.
Party politics. I mean, I actually stayed up one night and watched CNN. And they had several of the spouses and several of the officers who were there at the Capitol that day. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure not all of those people are Democrats. But if you sit and listen to those people talk, that was serious. They were really scared for their lives. Mm-hmm. They were like 100% putting their lives on the line. And they unanimously were very resentful of how the Republican Party is handling this. Very resentful. One guy, I believe, even said that he is a Republican, and he just resents the fact that, you know, for party politics, like Sandra said, it's being swept under the rug. I mean, doesn't this man deserve justice? Doesn't this man deserve to know what happened that almost cost him his life? He said a lot of them have PTSD now. You know, it's very hard for them to go back in that building. And then you walk in there, other people are laughing and joking and saying like it never happened and saying it was like a tour. I mean, come on. That's so disrespectful to the Americans who were protecting our country that day. Yeah. Let's not forget that regular Americans doing their job, right? It's just wrong.
And a lot of those guys left the force. They left. A lot of them left.
Really, Sandra? A lot of them just left
their job.
A lot of those Capitol police officers, they left. Yeah, they left. They retired and they left.
So I just don't understand McCarthy's thought process when you see so many people who are affected by this disgusting event. Why wouldn't you want to be part and say, you know what, I want to know what's going on too? unless you got something to hide. That's how
Trump hates Nancy Pelosi. That's what it's really about. Everybody knows
got something
Trump
to
hates
hide.
Nancy Pelosi.
Any problems putting somebody on that committee? I'm sorry. Period. You shouldn't have a problem putting anybody on that committee.
I mean, it's like you said, Nancy. I mean, his responsibility, Nikki, is to the American people. Really? He doesn't even worry about Nancy Pelosi and how much party. He just be responsible to the American people. Because if you're not, it's just like this law. You think you're taking a stand and hurting Nancy Pelosi. Next thing you know, what you're gonna do when it happens again.
And I'm telling you.
Well, hopefully something like that will never ever happen again in the United States. And that was just one of those things because of who we decided to give power to. Yeah, it's just one of those unfortunate situations that happened because who. I don't know. I can't say for sure that the people really gave him power. I think there might have been some shenanigans going on with that election in 2016. But I think that is because of who the person was. So what the real lesson in that to me should be is that we really need to be careful who we give this power to for us not to fall into a situation like that. Because I think that's absolutely something that would have only happened because of who was in office. I don't think that would have happened under any of the other presidents or administrations that we've ever had in the United States. It was that particular personality that brought out the worst in America.
I agree with you, Sandra, but it concerns me that he is still working on doing that. Like he still actively engages with these groups on their little social media platforms and continues to keep it going. Do you think that he will be able to organize anything similar now that he's not president? I'm just concerned because he's got these Republicans willing to turn their back.
Yeah, they are. And a lot of, and I think a lot of people were blinded, because part of like what happened after the November 2020 elections, right? So some of these real diehard people, the girl with the guns in the background, that Marjorie Taylor Greene clown, and, all of these foolish people, they were all elected before this happened. I'm telling you, that was a defining moment in American history right there, right? So I don't think they're going to be as successful as they think they are in the 2022 election. I mean, we really do have to wait and see, but I really do not think that that type of mentality is going to be as successful as they think, because people thought, even if you thought something was going to happen, it's like, but that though, you know what I mean?
Right.
And again, all of those individuals were elected before January the 6th. So,
so
you don't think that the president is going to be? I'm sorry. You don't think Trump's going to be president in August, like everybody think he's going to be?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh so hard.
Then we start off this conversation about the big lie. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think the rest of the people got the memo though, because they're preparing for an August inauguration.
So I do understand that there are a lot of folks. I do understand that a lot of folks are living in alternative realities right now. I do get that, and I see it happening very often. But I don't think we're going to try to live in that space in November 2022. Okay, I do understand that there are folks living in alternative realities.
I'm just saying, child, they hype because come August he's going to be president. I'm just letting y'all know that all rip.
No,
that's all I'm letting.
That's not going to happen. Even though they still looking for the bamboo in the paper in Arizona, he's still not going to be.
I mean, really, this is what we're doing.
But like, isn't that taxpayer? Like, who's paying for that? Is that taxpayer money looking for the bamboo? Because they've now moved it to a separate facility, and they are still looking at bamboo
in the paper.
I cannot. People vote. Okay.
I just want to know.
It depends on voting. Vote.
I want somebody from China to come on and be like, by the way, we don't put bamboo in our paper. Like, I just want somebody to come on and be like, this is so ludicrous. This is so ludicrous.
We can't even make this up. This is so embarrassing.
You can't make it up. You can't make it up. And that's why I think in November 22, people are gonna be like, no, I was gonna say something.
We can only hope.
Yeah, I really hope.
So let's go into our Procacity corner. Let's see who made the list today. We'll talk about who made
the list today.
So today, somebody from Alabama.
Who said the N-word in the meeting?
A a recorded meeting.
In a recorded meeting with a whole bunch of people, and he said he'll do it again.
Girl, Alabama Democratic Party are
what
calling
they doing?
That girl. Let me just break it down for you, honey. The Alabama Democratic Party is calling for the resignation of Tarrant, that's the name of the city council member John Tommy Bryant, after he stood up and loudly asked,
"No, I'm running for mayor.
Do you have a house in here?" during a council meeting that he was referring to another council member, another female council member. He said it 2 or 3 times. We do have video. And I'm not sure if YouTube allows us to say the N word. I hope they bleep it, but I would like
we gotta do like some fair use. No, I think no. I think you can say the N word. I just don't know. You have to be careful about whose content you use. So yeah, you have to say like fair use, and you're just using it for educational purposes only. And so that's the only thing with using
thank
other
you for your
video.
disclaimer, Sandra. We said that prior to the video being on. I would like to see him in full view of his behavior. I will not ad lib. I will not be saying what he said. I just want you to see.
You gonna hang him with his own words? You gonna let his own words get him in trouble?
Well, I mean, I think that I think people should see who we dealing with. That's what I think.
Okay, and he wants to be our next mayor, Terrence, Alabama.
Oh, and when they called for his resignation, he said he is not stepping down. And as a matter of fact, he said that he's going to run for mayor.
Yeah,
that's what he said. I just want y'all to know that's what he has said. So
this is fair use for educational purposes only.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So let me go ahead and open that up real quick, and then put the StreamYard, what you call it, share screen, so y'all can see how inappropriate this man is. All right. Oh, wait a minute. See, I got to cancel. Oh no, the window. This window. Oh, here we go. Let me make sure that we are able to see it. Okay, here. All right, here we go. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
All right, let me take off.
Do we have a house nigger in here?
Yeah. Well, can we hear it?
Do we? Hey, do we?
I took it off. Can you hear it?
Would the chief please stand up?
Yeah, I was seeing this, right? Camera.
Were you able to hear it?
Yes.
Do we have a house nigger in here?
Yeah.
Talking about this one
Do
over
we?
here.
Hey, do we? Would the chief please stand up?
You see that?
Yeah, I was seeing this, right? Camera.
I mean,
wait, did I hear somebody say yeah? And then she right there? Did I hear that part?
He said that. No, I'm sorry. The guy that was standing at the podium said yeah. So he said, well, can we have her stand up?
What?
Mind you, mind you, this is a council member too. She on the board. Like she on the dais. She
Nikki, it was the guy standing up was the one who was talking. The guy in the far left part of the screen
who had the jacket on.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So his response to people calling him to come down was his excuse was like, well, the manager. Hold on, I got the.
I think he said the mayor. He said he was quoting somebody.
He said that he was quoting. He said Brian said amid calls from him to step down. He said I may even consider running for mayor next time. He said he is not stepping down, and he said that it was used by the mayor, Wayman Newton, the city's first Black mayor, who allegedly used the slur to refer to Councilwoman Veronica Freeman, who was the one that was sitting on the thing, sitting at the dais, who's also Black. And then the mayor has denied those accusations. He says they're trying to expose me for saying.
Listen, if you hadn't recorded, I ain't said that.
I know, right? I was like, does he have a recording of the man saying it? Because the only thing we know is that he said it.
But my thing is that you say something because somebody else said it. You said something because somebody else
And
said
why couldn't you just use the N word with some quotations or something? You don't actually have to say the word. Everybody knows what you mean.
But it's just he's in the context that he's using it. Like he shouldn't be saying it at all. Do we have a?
And that's what I was trying to figure out. What was his point with all this? What was his point? Was he saying, "Oh, the mayor said"? I mean, I don't understand.
He must have mad at him. Maybe she was on the opposite side of the issue that he was discussing at that moment.
That's so disgusting.
I don't know.
I feel bad for her. I really feel bad for that woman.
Let me tell you. So if Terrence has a black mayor right now, I don't think Mr. Man has a chance of winning. Is all I'm gonna say. So if they're electing a black person to be their mayor right now, they are not going. I would want to believe that they are not going to white.
I guess we lost her again.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Sandra.
Can't hear you. We saw you. I just want you all to understand why we have a Caucasity Corner, because this is constant and it's all the time. It's not like this happens on once in a blue moon. We're dealing with this on a regular basis. Like on a regular basis.
You know, I was thinking last week, number one, the fact that every week you have one. And you're not going out making these up. You don't go make videos.
Every day. I just said every day.
Every day, there's one.
Every day.
So, I mean, like, when I really feel like this needs to be a topic of conversation. The fact that there is something every day is a problem. And especially the one from last week, I did go back and watch the video. And I was just like, if the tables were turned, if that had been a black woman,
stuff like that, like
a black, you know, completely unprovoked, just chasing people around stores and all. Like, I was literally
wouldn't do it.
Shocked. First of all, we don't do that. Why would you bother? Why would you bother? Like, it doesn't even make sense. And I don't even get why it made sense to her. But the fact that this is continuous, that every single day this is happening somewhere, this is a serious, serious issue. It's like we are being stalked. We are being constantly harassed.
And let's be clear, Black people are not pulling out their cameras to videotape because they want to videotape. They videotaping for their protection.
Yes.
People realize that this is a real thing for us.
You have to
videotape for our protection, because look at this woman who videotaped this woman harassing her in the mall, and she still wasn't considered the victim. And she says, I'm videotaping for my protection, because you sitting there carrying on, your white tears carry all the sympathy, right? And you attacking me. Every time a Black person videotapes something, it's not because we're trying to videotape. We're videotaping because we need to protect ourselves. We have to
and there should be nothing to videotape. There should be nothing to videotape.
And our words, right? Yeah. And our word is not enough. Like, if we come and say this happened, it's not enough.
Nobody's gonna believe. I'm gonna be honest.
It had to be two white people to say it happened. Like a Black.
I'm gonna be honest.
Like, you need like two white people to co-sign on what you said. Like, what?
Look, Nikki and Sandra, if I went to the mall and I called y'all on the phone, just casual, and I was like, oh my God, ladies, you're not gonna believe what happened to me in the store today. If I did not have a video, wouldn't you think that I was exaggerating that story just a little bit? Like, it just seems so unbelievable and so egregious. I don't think anybody would believe me that this woman, for that period of time, this video went on and on. I was like, why is this still going on?
I think it's like 7 episodes of it.
Yes. Like, why hasn't this stopped already?
Part 7.
I really think that a regular person, no matter of color, would have just been like, there's no way that happened in a mall and everybody saw it. It just seems so egregious and ridiculous. We have to video it to show the rest of America this is actually what it's like to be Black.
And let me
this is actually what happens to us on a daily basis.
When you see the video, you have to unpack it. You just can't just watch it. You got to see everything that happens. How they completely ignore the Black woman who is the one being the victim. How people are telling her, well, just leave her alone and go over there.
Stop taping. Oh my God. Thank God she did.
No one comes to this Black woman's aid. Not even the Black woman that works at Victoria's Secret.
Right.
Basically just standing between them, but really not doing anything. Then you had the cops at the end who were basically disrespectful, telling her, we don't work for the mall. Motherfucker, you ain't.
Ooh.
You don't have to work for the mall.
That was warranted. We feel you on that one. We feel you on that one. Yeah, this warranted that word.
It was just so upsetting for me to see this woman basically she attacked me. What about me? And how many other Black women or Black men or Black children who don't have a videotape and no one takes what they say
right.
And even when you have video, they still treat you. There's a woman that was in Walmart. This happened a year ago in California, and the Walmart employee who was white slapped her phone out of her hand. That's assault. And you know what happened to her? They told her she had to leave the premises. That they said that she is what's that word, Sandra? You trespassing.
Trespassing.
Walmart didn't reach out to her. No one said nothing until she reposted it again a year later. And she was like, it brought all these feelings, this PS. I'm just saying we have to videotape ourselves for our own protection. We're not doing this for fun. We're not doing this because we want to catch people doing something or whatever. Yeah. We have no choice.
Yeah.
We just have no choice. And it hurts me so much that she has video evidence and they still treated her like trash.
Yeah.
Still treated her like trash.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that caucasity. That man is in public service. He's a public servant, and he's calling a woman who is his peer,
yes,
an N-word in a recorded meeting on the dais.
I would really like to see some of these women's groups, like Ruth's List or Emily's List or whatever list, reach out in support of this woman too, because we always talk about how hard it is to be a female in politics. And how hard and unsupported, that we are in elected positions. Nikki, you even ran for office that with, females and males in a race often get treated differently. It's like this woman has finally gotten elected and is a leader, an elected leader of her community. To be disrespected that way, I think the Black community needs to stand up for her, but also we have these groups that are calling me constantly asking for donations. I think they need to step in and say, okay, when women are mistreated this way, what are we doing? Are we going to support her? Because I also haven't seen, because I was looking at the USA Today article, I didn't see anybody, what's the next step? Are I see them saying like he should resign for saying the word, but where's the support for this woman who was attacked? Or are we just going to ignore that happened to her?
And I'm sure, and I suspect in their bylaws or whatever they're operating, there's a level of decorum that is supposed to be used in those spaces. And I'm sure, I'm not going to say I'm sure because I don't know. I would suspect that violates at least one of the rules of decorum for operating in that space, to refer to that woman by that name. And so even just within that commission themselves or that council themselves, they need to look at their bylaws and see what kind of consequence he can get for using that type of language. Because I know like on the Senate floor, the House floor, you can't say that stuff. You can't call people out of their names. You know what I mean? So I suspect that there's some sort of rule that that dictates decorum in that space and in those meetings, that he violated it by referring to that woman by that name.
Well,
I sure do hope so, but we do need to support her, because having been someone who is in an elected position, it gets lonely at the top, and we need to. Other people who have been in those positions. I mean, I'm personally going to reach out just to say, like, look, I know it's hard, even though it's being said that it's wrong. People still need to just say, like, you didn't deserve that.
Absolutely.
You are to be respected, and just that, we're here in your corner. And, he really needs to issue her a public apology and resign.
At the very least.
Both.
At the very least.
A public apology, because this is unwarranted.
Or at least have some sort of sanctions against him.
Yes, for sure.
There has to be some punishment for that.
It has to be.
Well,
you'd be surprised what people get away with.
You can't say much, but Dr. Fauci today was like, Dr. Fauci had 0 F's to give, honey. He was like, no, you know who the liar is. That Brooklyn came out real quick.
Dr. Fauci is like 2 steps from cursing. They're pushing this man to the edge.
He's like,
did you see the thing on the DeSantis like the page that he has where he says paraphernalia? Did you see it?
No.
It said like, oh, I gotta go pull it up. It said like he's not gonna Fauci Florida or something. I'm not giving you, but it oh yeah. So I was just like, this man's just doing his job. He's just literally trying to save us.
He couldn't take it no more to death. He couldn't. I don't know if this was today or yesterday, but Dr. Fauci said, "Listen, what you not gonna do?" He's like, "You want to retract the same? Was it the same Jordan one, Sandra? I think it was the same Jordan one that was questioned. No, Ron Paul. Last name is Paul.
Oh yes, Ron Paul. Yes.
Oh,
no,
Rand Paul.
I saw that.
Rand Paul's a doctor, so I don't even understand. I don't even understand him.
Rand Paul.
I don't even understand him. He's either a doctor or his dad was a doctor.
Doesn't matter, but he don't know. But Dr. Fauci said, frankly, he said officially, I'm gonna say you don't know what you're talking about. You do not
say that.
Dr. Fauci said,
for the record,
my capacity. Okay, Dr. Fauci was like, he was tired. You should. That man was like, you know what? And I'm not taking it back. I've never lied on the Senate floor. Okay, and you don't know what you're talking about. I was like, Lord, I can't take it. It's just too much.
It's too much.
And I was.
I know Dr. Fauci's like, don't you know we on a Lambda variant? We're like on Greek letter variants right now. What's wrong with you people? Like we on Greek letter variants. Like what else do you need to know that this thing is not a joke? It's not to be played with. Are you kidding me? We're on Greek letter variants right now.
We have a troll.
I can't.
There's a troll on this page, child. Let's finish up our thing or whatever so I can move past this foolery. He's sitting here sending foolishness like so we're not gonna pay him no attention. Let's go into Kay's corner. Kay, tell us what you've learned about what's new, girl. What's new?
I have some good news. So I am going back to the Florida legislature and letting parents know some good news about things that were passed this session. So last time we talked about the new legislation for schools. And we talked about how parents in Broward County have the right to ask for cameras in the classroom, but all around the state, there's now banned, very strict limitations on seclusion and restraint that can be used in public schools. Today, I want to talk about the Florida budget. So this was not necessarily legislation. This is, how sometimes they sneak stuff through the budget. They can't get it passed through legislation, so you put it in the budget, and because it's funded, it becomes policy.
Right.
So good news is in the budget, there were $96 million offered to home and community-based services who focus on people with developmental and intellectual disabilities. And also, there was also another, I'm gonna have to go to another one, but there was also another amount of money, I'm gonna get it here, $3 million earmarked to support 211 providers who offer support services to people with disabilities. Nice. So long story short, there's a whole bunch of money that actually did go out to providers of services for persons with disabilities. I can say from my own personal experience, just this week, in fact, 2 days ago, I had one of the providers of, everyone knows my son works through vocational rehab. And one of the providers that he did a job for like last year called us and was like, hey, do you want us to help out with Dylan's socializing skills? We have services available now. I didn't ask for this. They reached out to me. So it's telling me that a lot of these organizations really need to spend these dollars and they're going to have to prove that they needed this money. So with that, I want to tell parents, please, 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 again, go back and think about respite services. Respite services is they send someone into your home to watch your kids. It can be while you are at home. So if you're not comfortable leaving, just have them watch while you clean, while you cook, while you take a break, while you take a nap, while you drink wine on the patio, whatever. But it's just someone to give you that mental break where you're like, okay, this is a trained professional. My child is going to be safe, but I just need an hour to go to the grocery store or go get a manicure or go to a doctor's appointment, because we all know we can't take my child to the doctor with me because then I can't be seen. He's not going to be still. He's not going to behave. So that's one. But two, it's not just respite services. It extends to, like I said, social skills services. Providers that provide like social skills, mentoring for jobs, different therapies, whether it's riding horses or, like all types of stuff. Actually, so I'm not going to give too many details because the list will be long, and I want to be careful of naming certain organizations because people are going to say I'm promoting. I will say DM me if you want the names of specific organizations. We do have quite a few in Broward that provide, like I said, job mentoring, peer mentoring, social skills, playtime, whatever. It's also for various age levels. So there's social skills groups for little kids, and there's all the way up to adults. There's really a lot more money out there, and these agencies want to use it. So take advantage of this opportunity.
That is awesome.
Yes.
News. Yeah,
that's great. That's so good. I gotta look into some of that.
Yes, Sandra, is really good, and it's free for you. You don't have to pay anything for this. They've gotten the money, and they have to use it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a child that they can use it on.
You and me both.
I got a child they can use it on.
Okay, listen, that's the best news I've heard all day, honey. I appreciate that. I love that. $93 million. That's
I know.
That's amazing.
I really feel like we didn't get everything we wanted, but honestly, this was one of the sessions that, for as a parent of a child with disabilities, we did take a small step forward. It's not everything I want. We're not where we need to be, but we did make some positive progress. I just hope that we continue doing it going forward. But we got some good.
And if any vendors are watching, please try to tap into those funds.
Reach out to us.
Reach out, and so you can get some of these funds, so you can accommodate more kids. Because the more vendors you guys have, the more you can stretch out your services.
Yes.
There's not a lot for children with disabilities or adults with disabilities. There's very few. So if we can get vendors to jump on, there's money there.
Yes, I've been seeing. So I will tell parents, check out the CARD page, check out ESC advisory page, check out some of the autism groups that are on Facebook. I've been seeing a lot of vendors saying like, oh, I'm accepting new patients now. Oh, I'm accepting. So even vendors that maybe you tried in the past, you couldn't get in, take another stab at it. They're probably accepting new clients.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. I love that. That's like the best news. You really rounded us
out.
That's
real good news. That's like
we out there getting that 93 mil.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
I need to go give me a provider number.
Okay.
Yes, I will.
I need to go give me a provider number.
Girl, we need all the numbers, honey.
Yes.
And also go to Kay's respect page. It has all this information and phone numbers and emails that you need. Please make sure you visit her page because it has a lot of valuable information, especially for the disability community. So I really push that you guys go see it, go get on there. She got everything on there. And so we're gonna end.
And is the respect page only on Facebook?
Yes, right now we're only on Facebook.
So for now, she's only on Facebook.
Okay.
But I think there's some things in the works for the disability community, and she's a wealth of information. So I would strongly suggest that you go on there. She has everything. It's all organized. It's like, and you send her a message, she sent it to you right back. So go.
Thank you.
It's Respect on Facebook, and you will see her lovely face. So you'll know it's her. So, make sure you look at that beautiful face with the glasses. She may not have glasses on that picture because I think that picture.
I don't know. That might be an old one.
And she switched up the hair.
Her hair is short.
Now look, my hair has to change with the politics in Washington, D.C. Girls are watching every day.
That's an ongoing thing, child. Ongoing.
I got to get more wigs because I can't keep up.
All right, so I'm going to leave with this. There is now a Lambda variant on top of our Delta variant.
What?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it was. Texas what was it?
That one started in Peru. Texas had their first case, but it was a variant that started in Peru.
So
I know it started in Peru, but it was a lot of cases in Peru.
Yeah. So please, people, if you are vaccinated, please understand. Getting the vaccine doesn't mean you don't get the disease or the virus. So you still have to, be precautious, right? Still wear your mask, still wash your hands, and still do your 6 feet distance. Please do that in order for those who are not vaccinated and who have chosen not to be vaccinated, that you're protecting them as well, okay? We're still in this fight. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And we're going to get there eventually. But, as these things mutate, it becomes resistant. So we need to be very, very careful about how we are out here in these COVID streets. Okay. I wish everyone would look up your District 20 races, as we mentioned last few weeks. I think, Kay, how many did you say we had at the last?
14. That is my favorite number. So maybe we'll stop with there. My mom decided not to get in the race. I told her everybody's there, Mom. It's the place to be.
So we have
14 Democrats.
14 Democrats.
I think 4 Republicans, 2 NPAs, and a Libertarian.
There's 3 now. 3 NPAs and 1 Libertarian.
There we go.
So you guys have your work cut out for you, but I know those who watch us and follow us are already on the participation roll and they're ready to go. Yay. So make sure you keep an eye on that. That election, the primary is when we have closed primaries.
November 2nd. Okay. And I am organizing some canvassing and phone banking if anybody's interested, just to let the community know about the election. So this is not endorsing a candidate. If that's what you're trying to do, that's not what I'm doing. Okay. Right now, I just want to make sure that everyone in District 20 is aware. Guess what? You have an election when everybody else doesn't. Because, it's kind of hard to keep up with when it's just one district.
Sure.
So we're letting and then also with all the new changes in the laws, making sure they realize, are you registered? Do you need to register? Here's how you can vote by mail. So if anybody out there is interested, that's what I'm working on. Like it is 14 people on the Miramar Dems page. We do have candidates come once a month. This month, August coming, we will have Dr. Barbara Sharif come on and she will talk about why she's interested in running for that seat. In September, we're scheduled to have Bobby Dubose and Sheila Sheriff-Phyllis McCormick come speak. And we will also have Elvin Downing come speak. So, if you're interested in hearing from the candidates, you can check it out on the Miramar Democratic Club page. I'm also working with the Democratic Party on trying to do a candidates forum. So we're trying to see, look, we started putting together when it was only 10 people. So I don't know what we're going to do, but we are
District 20 gonna have 20 candidates.
Okay, Lord, it's gonna be like my classroom, 37 people.
Yeah. District 20 wants 20 candidates.
Yeah, I know, right? There you go, 20 and 20. So we're working on.
They technically right now have 21.
Oh gosh.
Mm-hmm. That's what they.
Well, qualifying is August
for 2021.
Yeah, qualifying is August the 3rd. So we'll see. We still have a couple of weeks.
So let's focus, those who are in District 20, focus on those candidates. Yes. Please be part of the process. Please participate because this is a very important seat. And as you know, we can't afford to lose any seats. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, I don't speak on you because I don't know what y'all doing. So y'all go ahead and do your things, okay? NPA, that can go either way, but there are candidates who are NPAs on there, all right? And final thing for me is that Black people continue to show restraint, continue to be patient, and continue to videotape to make sure that you're protected, right? We're living in a time now that our voices are amplified. And because our voices are amplified, you'll find people who are there who are trying to silence what we're doing, even doing the right thing. So continue to show patience, follow the law, videotape for your protection. And, at some point, they're going to realize it's either they get on the boat, get on board, or they hop off. Either way, we're going to keep doing us. So power to the people. Love y'all.
I'm going to end on something that we have talked about before, but it impacted my life just this Monday. And so this is just a reminder again for my disability crew, my corner, my people. This past Monday, my son had ear surgery, right? And everybody knows he just had his birthday in June. He turned 18. Well, guess what? When we went to the outpatient center, because he's 18, they weren't going to let me in pre-op. They were going to try to explain the surgery to my autistic son and have him sign forms. And so luckily, because I had already gotten an attorney involved and have a guardianship scheduled, I had the forethought to say, let me just get a letter from this attorney to say, although I'm not right now legally his guardian, I'm seeking that and, stating that he does have an intellectual disability in the whole 9 yards. So everything went well for me. Thank you for well wishes for my son. He's recovering well. But my heart always goes to, number one, what about parents who don't know about that? And if you happen to be at the ER tomorrow, what's going to happen to your child? And also parents who can't afford that, right? I'm going to be very honest. It was like around $3,000. Not everybody has that. I knew about it and had started saving. What if you don't know about it? So I really want to start having some conversations about adults with disability and guardianship. It is so important. And you would be shocked how, even though everybody knows he has autism, because he is 18, as Sandra will tell you, he's legally an adult. If you don't have that legal paperwork to protect yourself and your child is basically all your rights as a parent are taken away because they're an adult. So it's really something that we need to talk about, and I would like to look into further, even maybe do some work with Sandra to see what can we do to get the word out to Black and Brown communities about it, and also what can we do to help people who maybe can't afford the full price of it. I don't know. I don't have any answers, right. But I just need you guys to know that's something you really need to look into and take serious. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you can't be there for your child.
Right. And then, but the other part of that too, and I think one of the reasons why they finally backed down is, you've explained it to them. They don't want none of that litigation. They don't want the liability of not, of doing something and performing a surgery on a person who they've been put on notice cannot fully comprehend. Right. So that's part of it too. So yes, definitely you want to make sure you at least, and then when you're doing guardianship, you do not have to take, all of the rights away from the child,
Correct.
Just the ones that you need. Maybe making
Correct.
financial decisions, medical decisions. So you don't have to Correct. Strip them of all of their rights. You could just Correct. Strip them of the ones that you think are necessary, and then they can do because you really don't want to strip them of all their rights, because if Correct. You do that, then you're also taking away their right to vote and that type of thing. Right. You may not want to do
to
that.
Have
you
friends.
Be able to make
Yes. Yeah. And I did take your advice on that, Sandra. I did advocate guardian instead of full guardianship, because you know what, like he is, like you said, a young man. He does have some of his own ideas. He can choose his own friends. He can vote. He can drive. And again, that's a great point, Sandra. For people who don't know,
want him to be able to take full guardianship, because you,
if you take full guardianship, they can't get a driver's license.
Can't get a driver's license, can't get a marriage license, can't get no license.
Right. So it's something that I would highly advise. If your child is, around 16, 17, start speaking to an attorney. Start having that conversation. Start doing some looking things up. I know that NOVA does have a group where you can get information on it, but I would say please start looking into that. It is so important for you and your child.
And there's an attorney, Sandy Broussard. Bruce Rund or Broussard, I think is her last name. I might be saying it wrong. She's the owner operator of Spectrum Law Group, and she does a lot of that type of work. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think it's Broussard or Broussard, but she does a lot of work with Spectrum Law Group. She didn't tell me to promote her. I'm just doing it because I know that she does a lot of that work, and she could help with those paperwork. And I think she does forums and things every now and then too. So follow her on Facebook, or she may have a YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but she's definitely someone to reach out to. She does that kind of work. There's Broussard or Broussard, something like that. I'll
look her up, and I'll put it on the respect page.
Law Group.
Yeah. I will look her up and put her on the respect page so people can get that information and look into it at the very least. Thank you.
What's your final thought, Sandra?
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, what's your final thought?
You know what I mean? Like, I just been like, okay, so you can't hear me. So I don't even know like what my final thought's gonna be. I think I'm gonna just go with like, let the haters be your motivators. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta keep this voter right stuff, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. It's just let them haters be your motivators, and that's how we gonna walk into this week. Until we see y'all next Wednesday. Don't let none of that stuff get to you.
Yes.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Let your haters be your motivators. Well, on that note, we want you to go ahead and carry on. Let your haters be your motivators.
Period.
For the remaining of the week and the weekend.
Period.
And
What a tea.
Sorry.
Period.
Oh, period.
Yeah, I said period with a T.
That's right. Okay. And listen, those don't culture appropriate our words either. Okay. Until you
you know they're gonna do that.
Whatever.
All right, guys, we're gonna give it a couple more minutes.
All right, so I'm going to drop off because I have another meeting to jump into. But have a great week, everybody. Talk to you all soon.
Be good.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.